Sunday, December 17th, 1967. A little before midday. On a wind-battered stretch of coastline southeast of Melbourne, the sitting Prime Minister of Australia waded into the heavy surf and disappeared. He left behind no farewell letter and no instructions for his government. The only physical evidence that Harold Holt had been there at all was a neatly folded pile of clothes left on the sand. Heads of state do not simply vanish. The realization a leader of a nation could step into the ocean and evaporate triggered immediate shock across the globe. Almost immediately, that sudden absence of information created a vacuum, and into that void rushed decades of elaborate, increasingly bizarre conspiracy theories. It is difficult to accept that a powerful world leader can be casually erased by a random act of nature. To avoid that terrifying reality, the public began to invent their own. Harold Holt was an unusually active leader. He spent his weekends spearfishing, clearly comfortable in the water, and eager to project a modern vitality that set him apart from the stiff politicians of previous eras. But by late 1967, that physical confidence masked severe exhaustion. Colleagues noted he was heavily strained, run down by the relentless demands of his office. The pressure was largely geopolitical. Holt had closely aligned Australia with the United States, drawing the country deep into the escalating, highly divisive Vietnam War. Compounding this stress was a recent punishing loss in the half-Senate election, marking the worst political result his party had suffered in years. Under immense mental and physical fatigue at the time, Holt sought refuge in the one place he felt most in control. The ocean offered a quiet, familiar escape from the noise of the capital. That escape brought him to Cheviot Beach. Witnesses recalled an unusually aggressive swell that Sunday morning, with massive waves breaking violently against a jagged, hostile shoreline. This map illustrates the danger. Cheviot Beach sits near the Rip, where Port Phillip Bay violently collides with Bass Strait. In cross-section, the real threat is invisible. Beneath the waves, a strong undertow acts like a vacuum, dragging anything caught inside rapidly out to sea. Locals knew to avoid the water, but Holt brushed off warnings, telling friends he knew the beach intimately before wading straight into the surf. He swam out effortlessly at first, then the churning water simply swallowed him. His friends watched him slip between the crests of the waves and never resurface. His lifelong experience as a swimmer did not save him. Instead, his supreme confidence in the ocean blinded him to the lethal conditions right in front of him. The initial confusion on the beach quickly escalated into a national emergency. By sunset, Cheviot Beach was the center of the most extensive search operation in Australian history. Searchers faced a highly dangerous environment. Navy divers risked their lives navigating freezing currents, forced to blindly probe deep, submerged caves along the reef. Despite deploying helicopters, offshore naval patrols, and hundreds of personnel, the search yielded absolutely nothing. The Prime Minister was gone. Based on the physical evidence, the coroner concluded that Harold Holt accidentally drowned. The violent surf, combined with his documented physical exhaustion, likely led to a fatal mistake or a sudden medical episode. The total absence of remains fueled deep public suspicion, but authorities understand the reality of this specific coast. Between the crushing undertows, deep cave networks, and active local shark populations, a vanished body is exactly what marine science predicts. The coroner's ruling was straightforward, but the public largely rejected it. The idea of an accidental drowning felt too mundane, allowing extreme narratives to rush in. The most persistent myth claimed Holt was a secret communist sympathizer. Supposedly, a Chinese submarine surfaced offshore, extracted him, and spirited him to Beijing. Other theories suggested he staged his own suicide to escape his political failures, or that he faked his death to vanish completely with a rumored mistress. Historians and investigators have stripped away every one of these narratives. There are no suspicious bank withdrawals, no verified sightings, and zero naval records indicating a foreign vessel in Bass Strait. These myths survive because of a simple psychological reflex. We find comfort in the idea that a shadowy enemy is in control, because the alternative, that our lives are governed by chaotic random accidents, offers no reassurance at all. The immediate political fallout was intense. Australia was left entirely without a leader, forcing a messy, uncertain scramble for power, until John Gorton secured the prime ministership weeks later. In a dark display of local irony, the country soon memorialized their drowned leader by naming a suburban swimming pool the Harold Holt Memorial Swim Center. As for Cheviot Beach itself, the stretch of sand where he vanished was promptly locked down by the government. It remains heavily restricted, entirely closed to the public today. Harold Holt's disappearance contains no espionage and no grand political conspiracy. It serves as a stark, permanent reminder that the immense power of nature pays absolutely no attention to human titles.